Welcome everybody to another episode of the Lore Pod Podcast. I'm your host Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. Now today we are going to be doing something very interesting. We're going to be talking about a little profile. Now what do I mean by that? Well, we're going to be diving into space, the final frontier. But that could be said for our current character we're going to be talking about today on Lore Pod, SpaceGodzilla. That's right, we're going to be going over SpaceGodzilla, one of the kaiju from the Toho universe. And I should be clear, the OG Godzilla universes. In 1994, SpaceGodzilla first appeared in Godzilla vs. SpaceGodzilla with Baby Godzilla as well as Mogira. Basically, a very more pointy, kind of on-budget Mechagodzilla. Although, I should say, Mogira is awesome. Mogira, I mean, come awesome. We all played as him in this Godzilla battle games. Now, diving into the lore of SpaceGodzilla here, one who I think does deserve a lot more attention, by the way. And we may be seeing in Godzilla Con Supernova. That might be a thing coming up here. We don't know for sure, but I got a feeling. Alrighty, weighing in at 80,000 tons and 120 meters tall, he is SpaceGodzilla. Now, how does Godzilla become a space thing? And by the way, this isn't Godzilla in general. This is a new, different kaiju. It is a villain from space. Now, a little bit on the abilities here. He does have an aura. I know, as the kids say these days, yes, he does have an aura. All right, let's stay with me, which is going to be electrical disturbances. Now, he has the ability, one of many here that are just trippy, and I feel like that Toho, those guys were maybe smoking a little bit too much while doing SpaceGodzilla, but either way, he's fucking cool looking. So he can suck in his legs like a goddamn turtle and tortoise and actually envelop most of his body, besides his chest and head and his arms, into crystals. That's right, they will get sucked in and he turns into this giant crystal, very pointy, like a geode, basically, ball. And then he can fly. Like, there's no propulsion, he just can fly, like, why not, huh? Now, he has two giant crystals. He has one crystal on each of his shoulders there. Those crystals are actually able to shoot electrical beams, by the way. They're not even they're great for more than just defense of, being able to ram that crystal into another kaiju, Godzilla, but he can shoot energy from them. He can also summon giant crystals from the ground and shoot lightning from those giant crystals as well. And on top of it, this fucker has telekinesis and can pick things up and throw things like Baby Godzilla. And the superbly high intelligence. His energy attacks are lightning similar to King Ghidorah of those yellow lightning coming from the head. Now, how the hell does this thing get made? What monstrosity, what 90s theme did we do to make SpaceGodzilla? Because humanity made it. Well, Godzilla cells were sent out into space. Stay with me, there's a reason why. And they were pulled into a black hole where they were then fused with crystal organisms, and energy from exploding stars that got sucked into the black hole gave the energy to the crystals in the DNA. And that all fused together, just like the new atomic bombs fused together with Godzilla, in the Pacific, and instead it created SpaceGodzilla, who then emerged from a white hole, which, by the way, is a real thing. Currently I'm in astronomy school, but a white hole is something that doesn't suck in the energy, it actually expels that shit, and therefore it expelled SpaceGodzilla. Now, the design for SpaceGodzilla is taken from Super Godzilla from an old Super Nintendo game, actually, with the crystals, the odd-looking shapes and whatnot, and those fins that are on the backside that we know that heat up for his atomic blast, that shit was actually crystals as well. And he even had crystals at the tip of his tail that act as like an ankylosaurus, just wrecking everything. This guy's a menace. He also beats up a child, a kaiju child. Now, in his first appearance, he did fight the little Godzilla baby and captured him and tortured him in order to torment the adult Godzilla, who he just hated because he existed, right? He's like, I can only be one Godzilla. Like, it's not enough that you capture the person's kid and you torture them. You're just doing everything you can to torment this man. Poor Godzilla. Now, Godzilla needed help from Mogira, which again was a human-built mech, like Mechagodzilla and a human military. Plus, with the human military as assistance, they were actually able to take down SpaceGodzilla. But boy, it was an electrical big-ass battle. Now, that actually is all the quick little facts you need to know about SpaceGodzilla. He has appeared in comic books over the time, many actually different series of those. He's also appeared in majority of the Godzilla video games as a playable character to use. And again, here's hoping he's going to be in the MonsterVerse, the American Godzilla kaiju movies of Kong. That would be fucking awesome. Hey, legendary MonsterVerse people, do it now. All right, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the Lore Pod Podcast. It's a quick little profile on this episode here. Stay tuned for next week where we're going to cover some stories. That's right here. And it may be DC Comics scene. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. My Twitch is CodaRex97. My X is at DakotaMorgan3, which is also not X like my ex-girlfriend's or anything like that, but Twitter. And, of course, my Instagram at Dakota_Morgan97. Thanks everybody as always. And again, all this is gonna be description box down below. You all rock. And remember everyone, stay creative.